So we're coming up to Purim in Mitzvah, another 3 weeks, and there's a very well-known Gemara in Megillah, the story of Kom Rabbi Fishel Oster. And then the following day after Purim, so Rabbi was Techiyas Hameisim. So the Chidah in his Sefer Birkei Yosef and in other Sfarim discusses the Shaila when Rabbi Zera was resurrected. He had Techiyas Hameisim basically. Was he obligated to do a new kiddushin for his wife? Passed away, or he was killed, however you want to put it, and now he's Kom Rabbi V'shachte. V'shachte, yeah, the Rebbe's masber that he elevated him and he was mamshech, whatever. But B'payil he had Techiyas Hameisim and Aguf. However you teach it, the Rebbe says the ein dvarim yotzim mipshutam, and he passed away. So now he's alive again. Does he have to have a new kiddushin? What happens when a person passes away? The kiddushin between him and his wife is interrupted. It's cut off. So if it's cut off and now he's revived again, so there has to be a new kiddushin. That's the shaila from the Chidah. And the Chidah says the shaila is, what's the tutz dadim of the shaila, the way he puts it? Do you say that only a person that passes away naturally and there's a kvura, he gets buried, which means that it's sort of a permanent status that happened to him? So then I say that no, so he passed away and that's it. So the kiddushin, the marriage to his wife, is interrupted. Or do I say, one second, Masha Ein Kain, a person that didn't really die naturally. It was a story that happened that over here, that Kom Rabbi Fishel Oster, but he was never buried. He was never buried.
Wasn't finalized.
Yeah, it was something that happened, but he revived him. And there's other stories you have similar in Nach. Huh?
When the day was given, everybody died.
Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. There's a lot of different stories in Nach where you have situations where people passed away, but there was never a real kvura. There was Techiyas Hameisim, whether it's the Ben Ashurnam, there's different stories that you have in Nach of Techiyas Hameisim.
What is
So,
the kvura has to do then?
the permanence of the status. Yes, what when you get to Moshe Rabbeinu?
All the Yidden.
The what?
When is his covered?
Yeah, so we don't know where his cave is, but he was buried.
When all the Yidden died. By Matan Torah, all the Yidden died and came back also.
We'll get to that in a minute.
That's a difference. It's not permanent.
Tell me somebody that dies on the road or the sheep drowned.
No.
Buried, he's not dead.
If there's a matzav where the person died in a way that after he's revived, you could say that what happened to him was a temporary incident. Like here, Kom Rabbi Fishel Oster. So Rabbi did this to Rabbi Zera only because he had the koach to be Techiyas Hameisim afterwards. If he wouldn't have, the Eibusher would not allow such a michshel to happen that he should chas v'sholom kill another person. So the whole thing was considered is a temporary thing. Mashenkin, if a person passes away from any cause, whether naturally or a tragedy, whatever happens, but the person dies and he gets buried, so that's a misa that is mafkia, that takes away the kiddushin. But if a person temporarily had a yitzias and neshamim and aguf, so then you don't say that the kiddushin is the nifka. You know, there's more than one case where you have stories of I was just talking about it to someone when you get a certain year that he passed away, so to speak. They put a white sheet over him, and then a few minutes later they saw that he was moving. And there's even stories later where people passed away, and even an hour or two later, all of a sudden they see Alep noch. Okay, well that's different. I mean that's because he never really passed away. Or maybe it was Techiyas Hameisim. There was no pulse, there was no heartbeat, there's no. All right, shame. Yeah. So the Mai says, as he brings a Yerushalmi, where the Yerushalmi says, yeah, this is the Chidah. Chidah brings a Yerushalmi that says what happens if a person gives his get, his wife that is, gives his wife a get, but the get he gave her is with a Tanai. Almanas that in 12 months I don't come back. If I come back within 12 months, it's not a get. So what's going on over here? There's a person that doesn't have any children, and he's leaving his wife, and he's not sure if he's going to come back alive. He doesn't want her to be stuck with Yibum. So if he doesn't come back within 12 months, so then he got killed, he doesn't return, so then she's Mugadeshes, and she can go get married. Huh?
He never comes back, she's stuck.
And a Chanami, but that's what the Yerushalmi is talking about. I'm mentioning it because it's Negeya. That's what the Yerushalmi is talking about. Now, the question is, the Yerushalmi says, what happens if he died in the middle of these 12 months? Do we say, okay, now that he died, so even though the fulfillment of the condition didn't take place yet, because 12 months didn't arrive yet, but he died. Say he's not coming back in 12 months, because he died 6 months in. So do I say that the Gedushin is Chal right away, and now she can go get married, and she doesn't have to get married to the Yovam? That's the Shaila in the Yerushalmi. So the Yerushalmi there says, Rabbi Yosi Omer, Nasaloi Nisim v'choya. We're chayshish that maybe a nest will happen, and it'll be Techiyas Hameisim. So that's Rabbi Yosi. I'm not pasking. I'm pasking. This is Rabbi Yosi's shit. Rabbi Yosi says.
That's what I meant.
Rabbi Yosi says that Hayos the Tanai was, if he's not going to come in 12 months, you got to wait until the end of the 12 months when you see B'Payil that it didn't come. He's dead. Doesn't matter. Sekenzai a nest is going to happen. The nest is a milse shaloish einishchiach klal. Such a kind of nest should happen. But afal pikein, you cannot consider it to be a gedushin until the actual Tanai is fulfilled. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yosi. No, so from this, Oh, very good. 1 second. So from this, the Chidah brings a raya that you see from here that if the husband would stand up again, if he would come back, then she still married him. You don't need a new kedushin. You see over here, the Yerushalmi says, Nasloi Nisim v'choya. So if he died, and then he gets up Techiyas Hameisim and he would come back, it's the same person.
Oh, you could say that there'll be a gather of Yibum because the get was not the sky.
1 second, okay.
The get was the chal.
1 second. So very good. But first, the word that the Chidah says. The Chidah says, it says over here, Nasalei Nes v'choya, and he comes back, and he's still married to his wife. Still married to her. As I state. Okay, so the Mai says as I. First of all, what's the point you just mentioned? No? So, the Paiskim Taka say we don't paskin like this Yerushalmi. Not only we don't paskin like this Yerushalmi, in the Bavli, this shit of Rabbi Yosi is not even mentioned b'chlal. Even in the Yerushalmi, the halacha is not like Rabbi Yosi. But in the Bavli, this svar is not mentioned b'chlal. And the reason is, like you said, because even Rav Meir, which is chayshish l'miyute, but for miyute l'miyute, he's not chayshish. So for such a thing to happen, the Techiyas Hameisim should take place. Even Rav Meir, nobody's chayshish for such a thing. And if a person dies before the zman of the Tanai, he's not coming back. We can make this chazaki, he's not coming back. So there's nothing to be chayshish for. So the Bavli disagrees with this. That's number one. But that's not enough of a raya against this, because Enochanami, the Bavli, disagrees that this could happen. But there's no reason to say that the Bavli disagrees theoretically if it would happen, that if there would be a nest and he would be stand up with Techiyas Hameisim, that he would still be married to his wife. This statement that Rabbi Yosi says, Nasali Nes V'choya, there's no reason to say the Bavli disagrees. Elamai B'poil, the Bavli holds him not chayshish for it. That's one point. But the bigger point here is what you said. This is the shaila that a lot of Mefarshim ask on this chidah, that it's b'chlal not a raya. There's no raya b'chlal from this chidah, because the chidah is not, the Yerushalmi is not stam talking about a regular woman that her husband died. That we're going to say, that we're chayshish, that maybe there'll be Techiyas Hameisim. That's not what the Yerushalmi is talking about. Stam a regular case. If that's what the Yerushalmi is talking about, no almana could ever get remarried. Maybe her husband's going to stand up Techiyas Hameisim.
Buried.
Yeah. If he says Nasal Nisim V'chaya, was also after he was buried. A nes. So he's not talking about any person, any almana that dies, their husband died. What is he talking about? He's talking about the Tanai. Over here, there's a Tanai. So, right? So once there's a Tanai, so the shaila is her husband died. Yeah, so she is now Zukuka Yavam. She has to get married to a Yavam. Unless there's a get. If there's a get, she doesn't have to get married to a Yavam. So the shaila is, do I say, Hayos, he might get, Hayos, the Tanai was never fulfilled, so there's no get over here. Or do I say, the Tanai is fulfilled? The shaila is when you get to the fulfillment of the Tanai. That's the shaila. So when you get to such a case where the shaila is whether the Tanai was fulfilled or not, Rabbi Yossi says, listen, Zol Zayin, it's a miyuta, this never happens. But B'poil Mamish, the Tanai was not fulfilled. The 12 months are not up. That's really the only point that Rabbi Yossi is trying to say. That's right. Rabbi Yossi is not trying to say that what Taka Chayshish, that he's going to get up again, and therefore...
It's not about the Kedushin.
It's about the fact that the get never really took place. Because B'poil, the Tanai of 12 months, that time period did not pass yet. You have to wait until that time period passes. That's really the point that he's trying to say over here. So Mamela, when it comes B'chlal b'negei to a person that stands up from Techiyas Hameisim, you could still say that he's a new person and he's not married to his wife. He's considered to be a new person. B'poil mamish, how do you touch it into the words of Rabbi Yossi? Rabbi Yossi, the lashon of Rabbi Yossi says is Nasale nes v'choya, that the condition was not fulfilled because he could come back. When you get to the Tanai, you have to look at what the kavanah of the Tanai was. The kavanah of the Tanai was, he's saying, if I will come back, then the get will not be chal. Even if, when he comes back, he's coming back after Techiyas Hameisim, and you consider him to be like a new person and you need a new kedushin. Lamazagin, that's true. But he still came back. The Tanai was fulfilled. This whole shaila, whether you need a new kedushin or you don't need a new kedushin, what's really the shaylish of the shaila? Once a person passes away, do I say that the kedushin is interrupted and it's not like a new person? It's a new person that came back. Lamazagin is a new person that came back. But B'poil Legabe the Tanai, we consider it to be that the Tanai was fulfilled because he came back. That's the lashon of what he meant, the kavanah of what he meant in the Tanai.
That was a funny story that he comes back when I punish Chasam on this.
Yeah.
Because if there's Yibum, he's an Eichusach. If there's Chalitza, it's Eichusach.
So he can't do anything. So he's stuck.
So he's stuck and he won't marry her. So Kumun V'gam Pasha, his Tanai was in order to place him from Yibum, not in order to aser him on himself. Luyitzek Gleit in Moshiach, as I told him Techiyas Hameisim.
That's part of the
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, Al Kapanim, the Nekuda is that the Raya from this Yerushalmi is a Shvacher Raya. Because the point is, this Yerushalmi is talking about a Tanai for a get. It's not talking about Benegei to any Almana that her husband passes away, that now you still chayshish that there'll be a Nes. Okay, now this whole, till here we're talking about Benegei to a case where a Nes happens, or the Nes of Kamrab, but to move on, the reason why we're talking about this is when you get to Techiyas Hameisim, that's the Kishayla. What happens after Techiyas Hameisim? Do you say that a person has to make a new Kiddushin for his wife? That's the Shayla. So the Shayla when you get to Techiyas Hameisim is different than the case of Kamrab v'Shachtel Rab Zera. By Kamrab v'Shachtel Rab Zera, there's a svara that you shouldn't have to make a new Kiddushin because the whole Kamrab v'Shachte was a araydige thing. It was a temporary thing. He was Mechayir Rab Zera afterwards. There was no Kvura. Mashenkin by Techiyas Hameisim where there was a Kvura, over here there's more of a svara that the person that gets up for Techiyas Hameisim is a new Metzias. It's a new Guf, it's a new Metzias. There was a real Misa and it's a new Metzias. That's on one hand.
I mean, the Shachte is Menas Lach Yosef.
Right, over there. Mashenkin by Techiyas Hameisim, there's more of a svara that you should need a new Kedushin. On the other hand, there's a svara to say punkt fakert. There's a svara to say that Techiyas Hameisim is something which is oisgestalt l'chatchila. The whole Indian, the Rebbe has mastered this in so many places, that the whole, we spoke about this Kama Pamim over the last few months, the whole Indian of Techiyas Hameisim is not a chiddush that happens later when Techiyas Hameisim takes place. It's because the guf of a yid is l'chatchila a davar nitzchi. The Eibishter is beicher a guf in the guf of the yid, and the guf has a etzem luz that never disintegrates, and it's that guf that remains intact forever, and that is where Techiyas Hameisim comes from. When Mamela Techiyas Hameisim works in a different oifen. Techiyas Hameisim is that the etzem guf of the person that was there before there's a Techiyah to that. So maybe by Techiyas Hameisim there's a svara to say that it's the same Metzias, it's the same Adarabah. That's the whole word of Techiyas Hameisim, that it's the same person. Okay, so the shaila is
What you spoke the weeks before also.
the what again?
The whole, yeah. The lot to do with what you spoke about.
Yeah, no, let me hear. No.
What's the meaning of Techiyas Hameisim? What part is Techiyas Hameisim? Which part?
The nefesh, the body, different parts of the body.
So you can make a whole Chakira.
Okay, so there's kama v'kama pratim. So when you get to this shaila, when you get to Techiyas Hameisim, there's kama v'kama pratim. First of all, the simplest way how to approach this is to understand what is this din that when a person passes away, his wife could go and get remarried. If you look in the Mishnah, in the beginning of Kiddushin, it says that there's two efanim how a woman could go and get remarried. There's a get, and there's misas abal, if the husband passes away. Is a get and misas abal similar? Are they the same thing, or at least are they similar? But pashtus, not. Pashtus, what is a din of a grusha and almana? Okay, but that's how Torah says. I'm talking about the mitzias. Pashut, the simple mitzias, but pashtus, a get and misas abal are not the same thing at all, because a get is not something that al pi seichel creates a situation where the woman now is alone and she can get remarried. What's a get? Torah comes and says, although your husband is here, but afal pikein, if you give her a get, a sefer krisis, it's a dover akairis beinoye beino, and it separates the husband from the wife, and now she becomes a pnuya and she can go get remarried. So the get creates a separation. Mashenkin a misas abah, when a husband passes away. Why could she get remarried now? Because he's not here. He's not here. And I left nicht. It's a svara pshuta. She was married to him and now he's not here. Huh? So all the achronim speak about this. This is 1 second. Yeah. That ever brings us in Sichas also. The Rogat speaks about this. But first, the simple pshat. The simple pshat is Misa is a metzias. The reason why she can get remarried because it's a metzias. The man is nicht da. Mashenkin a get is not a metzias. A get is a din Torah. Torah says that it separates. If that's the pshat, so then when you get to Techiyas Hameisim, as long as the husband is not here, so then she can go get remarried. But what if the husband is here? So then she's still married to him be'emes. Even once the husband passes away, it's not the pshat that there was anything done to create actively a separation. As long as b'metzias he's not here.
Like Yerushim, you need to create this.
Right.
It's automatically. You don't need to.
Good point. But when he comes back, the moment he comes back, Erzda. There was never anything done to create a separation between him and her. There's no krisis between him and her. There was nothing that ever separated between them. After Techiyas Hameisim, you go back to your husband. Even if you need, if you need a new kedusha. No. No, it's not. No, I'll tell you what I mean, because there's the shaila, the Zaya discusses the Bavusta shaila. It's brought in Shuvas Svarim. There was a woman that her husband passed away, and she didn't want to get remarried. So they were pressing her. She didn't want to get remarried. Why? She says, my first husband was a big Talmid Chacham, and I made it a tzaddik, and she's afraid if she gets married to somebody else, by the time of Techiyas Hameisim, she's going to have to go to her second husband, not to her first husband, and she wants to stay with her first husband, so she didn't want to get remarried. So they brought her a zoyar that says that a woman that gets remarried, by Techiyas Hameisim, she goes back to her first husband. When Mamela, she can get remarried, and then by Techiyas Hameisim, she'll go back to her first husband.
That doesn't solve the problem. You might need to have Kedushin.
Good, but my point is, but you still go back to that husband. You have to go back to that husband. Huh?
Or if they don't want to go to the first husband.
What do you mean if
Techiyas Hameisim, they don't want to go back.
No.
You didn't solve the problem.
I'm not sure if you have a choice in the matter. If you have to make a new kedushin, you should have a choice in the matter. It's totally bizarre. If you have to make a new kedushin, so it can't be machriach. Has to be an Eishim Miskadesh, that's right. Mibal Karchach has to be Midaita.
Then everybody's going to have Das Emes V'chulu, and they're all
right.
Shalom Ba'ilam.
Okay, say that.
Many Shalom Bayis issues anymore.
All right. Okay, Akopanim, so so that's one svara. One svara is that Misas Abal is a Dovashab Metzias. As long as that Metzias is a reality, that the husband is not here, then she's not married. But once the husband is here again, she has to go back to him automatically. But then there's another svara, which is mashpar from the Gemara in Kedushin Daf Yud Gimel, that the concept that Misas Habal separates a woman from her husband is not a svara. It's compared to Gedushin. The Gemara there brings a limud that it's compared to Gedushin, and just like Gedushin is a davar hakairis, so too Misas Habal creates a separation between husband and wife. Just like the act of giving the get, this is an act that you place the get into a woman's hand. That maisa creates a separation. The act of the husband dying, or whatever you want to call it, that incident that happens when the husband dies, that itself creates a separation. And I can't come back, it doesn't make any difference.
Can be the same strong. Still
Huh?
Hebrew, there's still chalitza, there's still so much yachas to the...
Those are dinim that the Torah said. Torah was still machai of certain dinim in cases where she didn't have any children. Good, can zayin. Yeah, so there. But whatever the Torah said is disconnected. How? Not because the Metzias it became disconnected, but because Torah said that it becomes a din that they become disconnected, just like a get. Huh?
It's not natural.
Not a natural thing, exactly. Well, Mamela after Techiyas Hameisim, you would need a new kedushin. You need a new kedushin, just like if a get you need a new kedushin, but Misas Habal you also need a new kedushin. That's one thing it could be totally in. Another thing it's totally in, and this is something we spoke about kama v'kama pomim before. When you get to every person that gets resurrected by Techiyas Hameisim, this is the Bavusta Shaila. There's a lot of things about this. I spoke about it already. A lot of pratim. We'll speak more about this subject. Is the person a new person? Is it a ponim chadoshes or is it the same person? Well, who gets revived with Techiyas Hameisim? Is it considered to be the same guf, or is it a panim chadoshes? The Rebbe speaks about it in Sichos also, B'kama V'kaimis. Well, the nafkamin is over here. If it's a panim chadoshes, if by Techiyas Hameisim it's a panim chadoshes, could be it's the same guf, it's the same neshama, but because the whole guf was nirkav lagamri, and now the Eibusha creates a new guf, yesh ma'ayin, it's considered to be mamash like a panim chadoshes. If it's a new metzias, then you need a new kedushin. Even if Timtzalema, that Misas Habal was not a real Dover HaKairis, but it's a new person. It's mamash like a new person. And if it's not a new person, so then you don't need a new Kedushin. So it's also totally in the Pshat of Techiyas Hameisim. Okay, we'll finish off just with this point that you mentioned before, Shmuley. When you get to Matan Torah, so one of the places that the Mefarshim bring a raya to this is from the union of Matan Torah. By Matan Torah it says, L'kol dibu v'dibu parchan nishmason. And the Yidden, which means the Yidden Pashtus, the Pshat is that the Yidden passed away. There was Yitzias HaNeshamim in Agov, and it says they're even befedish that it was Doimit to Techiyas Hameisim, because Eibusha was machzer the Neshamim into their Gov with the Tal She'asad L'Hachis Techiyas Hameisim. So it was the Yidden experience by Matan Torah Techiyas Hameisim, and not one time. Al Kol Dibu V'Dibu they experienced Techiyas Hameisim. Huh?
Twice.
With all the
I heard that's two divas, the first two divas.
from the Eibusha. Okay. So the Yidden experienced Techiyas Hameisim, so does that mean that after Matan Torah, the Yidden had to go and do a Kedushin over again?
Yeah, but this is like Rab Zeira.
Huh?
This is the same, temporary. It's like Atchila was Kedei La'achris. It wasn't the same like
Okay, yeah, it's a good svara.
No, but
And
here it
Hanan?
says clearly that it's
Doesn't
from
make
the
a
top.
difference from what method he used, but
No, he has a shtickle svara, episode svara you're saying, I hear what you're saying. Okay, so the Maisa says two things. First of all, let's put that svara aside. It's a good svara, but besides that, there's a shayla when you get to this whole thing that happened then. First of all, who says maybe Taka they didn't need new Kedushin? Maybe Taka after Matan Torah, he didn't have to do Kedushin again. And not only that, forget about the Techiyas Hameisim. L'chayre, the whole Matan Torah was a Geirus. And even when Makabel the Torah Mechadosh, Gersh and Mizgar, Kotten Shanayla Domi. Or even without that, they never did Kedushin before Matan Torah l'chayre. So now they had, after Matan Torah, they were Makabel Matan Torah the first time. That what?
They wouldn't say nowhere such a thing.
That what?
That they need new Kedushim. I wouldn't say in any sefer in the Shas.
He's asking you, how can it be?
And Roshim gone, and steht gone.
They weren't Mekayim any mitzvahs before. So just like it's a Dover HaPashat that all Taryag mitzvahs, they were Neschayev the very first time of Matan Torah, so it's the same thing also with Kedushin.
I would have said it. Some
Huh?
Epes would say
He's
it.
about to tell us.
So the Rebbe brings in a Sikha that the Lashon of the Pasuk says after Matan Torah, Shuvu lachem la'ohal leichem. So the Rebbe says la'ohal leichem. It's already your tent. It's already the marriage of la'ohal leichem. It's already yours, which means they did not have to do the Kedushin over again after Matan Torah. And the Rebbe brings that be'emes there was Kedushin before Matan Torah. You see by Amram that Amram was Megayim Kaddish's wife before Matan Torah is given Kiddushin for Matan Torah, and therefore you don't have to do Kiddushin over again.
It's
in
the Rambam.
Yeah, it was
The Rambam
Daraisa
starts
also.
speaking about
Yeah. That Amram is worth the Rambam. Okay, but there are those that say that the whole union of Parchan Nishmasan was not a real Misa Kipshutai. The Marsha says Parchan Nishmasan just means, he uses the lashon that maybe some people died, but he says some people, there was a halishus in the guf that there was like a faint state of faint where it was like Parchan Nishmasan, but it wasn't a real Misa necessarily. So according to that, for sure, there's no raya from here.
They still had a pulse.
Yeah.
The much we were talking about before, no. The guy that died and woke up.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay.